You're going to see here as we set up this drill, you're going to see 3 cones here on this side for 3 offensive players. Okay, any of those offensive players could get the ball, then they would get to be an offensive player from there. Okay, so if we throw the ball to one of these guys, it's like a perimeter screen or whatever, and they get to run, go be an offensive player. Okay, if we throw the ball to this guy at this cone, there's another cone out there. He is going to take like an outside zone path, and then he can cut up at any point. But our kids are on their backs here, okay, on the field. They don't know who's going to get the ball. So this is part of that recognition piece. When they flip over from their backs, they've got to find where the ball is. Okay, so you're going to see we always have 3 at a time going for this drill. Kind of how we work it here is there's always a defensive lineman going. So again, defensive linemen are always pursuing flat from the inside out. When they pursue the ball to the perimeter, that's the position we want to put them in. Okay, then we're going to have, in this case, like a safety and an outside linebacker here. Then the next rep you'll see you have an inside linebacker in a corner. So we kind of alternate like that to not have too many bodies going at once, but everybody's kind of working their angle. So ball goes to their perimeter. So all 3 of these guys have flipped. They've identified where the ball is. They recognize where they are in space. And now they've got to plan accordingly. What is the angle I've got to take to get in position to make this tackle? Okay, so we want to be downhill as much as possible at the near hip. Okay, so an angle similar to this. This kid's going to take a similar angle. Okay, our D lineman pursuing from the inside out is going to take a much flatter angle. But again, we don't want to give the cut back up. We want to try to push that guy to the sideline. Okay, so you can see those angles there. Not bad. And, you know, again, it's hard not to as a coach, right? There's going to be other pieces as this as they're going in other phases that are going to show up. Yeah, I'm not saying don't coach those. Absolutely, if one of those needs to be coached in this situation, coach those. But the main point for us here is we want them to recognize where the ball is in space and work their angle. Okay, a lot of times we talk to these D linemen about, right? They're not going to make this play all the way on the sideline. The only way they make that play is if this ball cuts back on these guys. Okay, if this guy just ran scot-free up the sideline, he's not going to catch him. But you've got to run with the intention that that ball is going to cut back to you. What's the angle I'm going to take if that ball cuts back on me? Or cuts back to me, rather. Okay, so that's one of the ways we work that. Different way, again, we want to change the angles. We want to change where the ball is in space. Change how our kids have to see it. Okay, so again, this clip starts a little late, but I think it gives you a good idea of the D lineman in particular, the angle that we want them to take so they don't give up the cutbacks. They don't get cut back on. Okay, but we've got a perimeter player here working top down, working inside out. Again, now he's a left shoulder tackle here. Leverage the ball on my left shoulder. Okay, you're going to see him come under control, and he's going to hopefully make a left shoulder tackle there. Again, the good piece here that you want to see, our defensive lineman there, okay, working inside out. Okay, he's a negative angle, so he should not slow down, right? We talked about that in the contact piece. And again, like I said, you know, it's not really a contact drill, but the whole point is I'm in a negative position, right? I'm not inside that V of the player, okay? I'm not inside that V, so as long as I have a good angle, there is no reason for me to slow down. So that's what you're going to see from that kid. Okay, he doesn't slow down, he runs fast, he takes a good angle. If that ball cuts back to him, he's going to be in good position to make a tackle. Okay, same drill here. Let me go back. Right, and you can see the, you know, tackling circuit for us. We're working a contact piece down here onto a mat. We'll talk about more, you know, a little bit more about contact pieces here in a second. Okay. Bad angle by our defensive lineman here, right? So he takes too flat of an angle, doesn't recognize where the ball carrier is. He's never going to get there, right? He's put himself in a bad position. Pretty good angle here by our defensive back up top. Okay, again, he's working inside out, working left shoulder tackle. And again, he's now in a positive position is what I want you to see here. Okay, he's in a positive position, right? He's inside the V of the ball carrier. Okay, he's inside that V we talked about. So this is going to be a knockback tackle. It's going to be a positive tackle. So you had better come under control. If this kid was running out of control, he would give up the cutback. So he throttles right there. Okay, and again, this is what we want from our throttle. We want to widen our base. We We want to shorten our stride. We're going to get my shoulders forward, shoulders over my toes, put my body in position to make a tackle. And that's what he does. Good throttle, good position to make a tackle. And again, a lot of times when we work in these drills, unless we're working a contact-specific drill, we're not going to go to the ground. We're going to tag, we're going to punch the hip. That's all we're going to do.